Well, let's take a look at a couple of these returns here. I'm going to let this one play from the all 22 angle just to kind of show. I just, when he got up the sideline, dude, I'm like, I think it was Wilson, number 30 right there. I was like, he's probably going to get the angle.
Same.
And then he hit a different gear at that like 40 to 50 yard line.
Yep.
And I was like, no freaking way. He just took that to the house. And look on the sideline. I don't know who this is, but look at this guy right here. He's like, oh, let me get a head start. Oh, Hines still beat me to the goal line.
I thought the same. Like when he hit it, I was like, sweet, get the ball at the 50, good field position. And then he kept going. And I was like, oh, cool, like the 40. And I was like, no, he just, like that. He's got long speed and he's got quickness as well. But you really saw it here. And as you pause it and show, again, I feel like people never really see the special teams world from an all 22 angle.
Right.
This is gorgeous. Like you almost have like a quarterback level pocket for Nyheim Hines to approach. And now he gets to kind of pick his poison with wherever lane he wants to go to. He fakes that, gives that little jab step to the left, and then you get the great blocks from Morris, the great block from Gilliam.
Yeah.
Oh, just sealing that. And then this is where you see it because 30 has the angle on him. Like he had a good job, but Hines just separates with that long speed that, made him, as of now, he's the greatest trade deadline acquisition in NFL history. I think he should be up there for NFL MVP. Just for his ability to hit the hole, the vision. But again, major shout out to Gilliam and Morris.
I'm curious on what type of return this was, because as you said, there is like a nice pocket here. Like, is this a middle return? Like he's supposed to be hitting it up in here. I'm interested in that because you'll see on the second one, it's a little more. You can see it's a little more, out in the open there. But watch. So I like the return here that's called, but it gets a little muddy because they kind of collapse it like a pass rusher's collapse in the pocket. And so he doesn't quite know where to go. But as you said, this block right here by Morris, and then watch Gilliam from the beginning of this, though, as they're setting up this little pocket. Watch Gilliam wrap around and then boom, seals that off. And then, of course, Hines off to the races, hits that next gear, and he's able to make that house call. Just unbelievable stuff, again, from that angle, especially because, again, it's kind of muddy. But when you have a guy with his speed, but also you got to think about him being a running back helps that vision piece, and he's able to make people miss on that one. And just, again, you couldn't create that. You couldn't write that script any better. And then this one, obviously helped the Bills later in the game too. But you can see this return's a little more pronounced. You can see here comes Gilliam across that formation there. He picks up him, and then here comes Taiwan Jones leading up that sideline. So this is a left side return. Decent block by Medikevich there. And then once again, off to the races. And the interesting thing, and I didn't get the chance to go ahead and double check this or confirm it, was that number 35, Pierre Strong, was a special teams player for the Patriots on that first kickoff. And he was on the very next kickoff by the Patriots. He was pulled off the kickoff team. And so Andrew Callahan, who's a Boston writer, believes that Strong was the blame on that initial kickoff return. So he's not on here, but the guy that's filling in for him is number, I think it's 27, Miles Bryant. And he's the guy who Hines hits right there.
Miles Bryant just cannot catch a break in these Bills games, man.
He did. You know what? The Bills owe him though, because it was a cover zero look at the end of the game.
And the first game last year.
Yep. Yeah. So you know what? What goes around comes around. Hines breaks that tackle right there on the guy who actually really liked him coming out, but he broke that tackle and then again makes another house call. But look at the blocking. As I said, Gilliam's coming across the formation. Watch Jones sell it. And Hines does too. He kind of directs this way and then bends it out the left side there. But look at the blocks at the point of attack. Good read right there by Hines, a cut up inside of Medikevich. And then, one-on-one with that defender, make a miss. Kicker doesn't stand a chance. Speed, hit those turbo jets, and get into the end zone for 6.
Hines is the story because obviously he's the one who scores, but you really have to execute as a unit up front to clear pathways. And we highlighted Gilliam and Morris on that first one. I want to highlight AJ Klein's block. You see him there, 52. He's got the white elbow wrap. Watch him bury his man. And this is what opens up that lane. Boom. He takes his man down, sets it up. And then Jones comes through. Medikevich comes through. And then you got Siran Neal. Like the Red Sea parts a little bit. Medikevich doesn't hold. Nice job from him to kind of let up there on Tavai so he doesn't get that call. But that initial piece from Klein just opens it up, and then everybody hits their spot. Like Hines definitely does his job as well. But on a kick return, so many things have to go right. Like you have to execute as an entire unit. And this was, I think this gets lost. Special teams always usually, gets lost in the shuffle in terms of the three phases of football. But the Bills on the year for 2022, they were the number one special teams unit in all of football per DVOA. And the Patriots, who ironically, who are normally a very sound special teams unit,
the worst.
They finished 32nd. Last year, they didn't have a great year. They finished 18th. This year, they were 32nd. I actually believe coming into this week, I think they were like 28th or 29th. So this wrecked them a little more. But yeah, tremendously important. And you see the opposite, right? Like great execution from the number one special teams DVOA unit versus the last ranked DVOA unit, all getting blocked and getting picked up, not their integrity. And you get 2 house calls in a game, which in today's NFL, if you give up 1, that's bad. 2 in 1 game is inexcusable.
Yeah. And the thing with special teams to keep an eye out for next week is the Dolphins aren't very good either.
Correct.
If you look at just their DVOA on kickoffs alone, they're 29th. So keep that in mind when you start looking at some of the do your research for the game coming up this week and how they treat a guy like Hines now with these plays on film. Do you kick it to him, especially even on punt returns too? Like they're going to have some decisions to make when it comes to special teams and kicking the ball to Hines.
And we saw even later in that Bills Patriots game where Folk tries to angle it and he kicks it out of bounds and the Bills get the ball to start at the 40-yard line and Hines is clapping it up. Yep. Like that's a huge piece. And in a game where, again, we'll see what happens with Tua and the Dolphins quarterback situation in general, but in a game where you do not want to give the Dolphins any opportunity to get in that game, any opportunity to breathe. If you are winning the special teams phase, that's already a huge boost and a huge start. And then add in the advantages they have for the Bills on offense and defense. You have the opportunity to really start to squeeze Miami from the start of that game and the opportunity to kind of turn the tide and swing pendulums and turn up dials from a special teams perspective, which always comes into play when it comes to field position. But if you can put points on the board and take points away, oof, man, I love that piece. That's a huge piece coming into this.
Yeah, absolutely. Game. Special teams. Again, we don't cover it often, but they do make a difference. It is that third phase. It does matter. This regime cares about that.
Yes.
And that move by Brandon Beane, as you said, that paid off. And again, you put this on film, it's not just going to resonate this year. It's going to resonate over the next couple of years with Hines on the team.